My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey, welcome back, folks. Today we've got a self-directed IRA expert, Mr. Corey Daharsh, zooming in from Charlotte, North Carolina. Corey, how are you doing today?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing quite well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here and just share a little bit of my knowledge and expertise with your audience.
Well, that sounds great. So first things first, let's just start with the super duper basics. If somebody's been hiding under a rock for a long time and they're not even sure what an IRA is, or they happen to be a Canadian watching the show and they don't know what the heck an IRA is, what's the definition?
So IRA, it stands for Individual Retirement Arrangement. Self-direction really means that you're taking the control out of a fiduciary or financial advisor and making your own decisions as to what you invest into. So that's the lane that we serve at Advanta IRA, is people that want to control their own investments and not have to lean on a fiduciary or a financial advisor to choose them for you, whether it's, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. We deal with alternative assets like real estate, private lending, cryptocurrency, things like that.
Okay, very, very cool. So let's take a look along the real estate side of things for, private lending and that sort of thing. What are some of the big advantages of switching over your IRA to a self-directed one in that field?
So a lot of times people are already investing into real estate and just don't know that they can use their retirement dollars in that asset class. Mm-hmm. And the advantage there really comes with the tax strategy side of it. So if you're using your tax advantage retirement account to invest into real estate, you're generating passive income, tax deferred or tax-free income from your rental returns, or if you buy and fix up a property and sell it, or if you even hold it for a long time and sell it after a longer duration. There's no capital gains on those sales. And as you're generating that income passively through your retirement account, you're not having to pay income tax or anything else against it. Now, the flip side to that, I always try to be direct and honest, is that you don't get to take advantage of like depreciation like you would if you're buying property through your own accounts and your own savings. So there's a flip side there. You have to weigh the pros and the cons for your own scenario and see what works best. But with retirement account investors that are already real estate investing, to just do more and get tax advantage money into the real estate investment space that they're already in, it seems to be, if not half of our client base, and a significant majority.
Yeah, very cool. So one question somebody might have is, can I use my own IRA funds if I put them into a self-directed account with you guys? Can I use that for my own deals? Can I go out and buy more properties in my own portfolio?
So the portfolios and the deals would need to remain separate. You can partner with each other, which is kind of a longer topic, but in itself, your own personal investing is a separate entity, whether it be yourself personally or your own LLC, than your retirement account. So those need to be completely delineated. There are ways to partner them together, but you can't front yourself money or put a down payment for a property out of your retirement account that you're going to utilize personally or invest in personally outside of the retirement account.
So bottom line is, you can invest your self-directed IRA funds into somebody else's deals. They can invest theirs into your deals, but you can't double dip and invest in your own deals. Is that bottom line pretty much how that works?
That is pretty much how that works. A lot of time with syndication investors, like limited partnership investing, that's what I suggest, because someone might be on a general partnership team and want to put their own dollars into that deal. It's easier to just find a buddy that has a deal open. You invest into his deal, he invests into yours with your retirement accounts, and it's kind of a mutual agreement there. That is exactly as you just put it, a lot of the conversations I have with those individuals.
All right. So we've interviewed a few IRA administrators on the show before. What sets you guys apart? What do you guys do a little bit differently than maybe some of the other guys in the market?
Yeah, so we're about a mid-size self-directed IRA administrator. We've been in business for 21 years. We've got about 13,000 clients right now and just over 3.2 billion in assets under administration. Mid-size, but we're not too big. Each of our clients has a dedicated client account manager assigned to them. So I served in that role for 5 years with the company. You get someone that's a one-to-one contact. You don't have to call a call center and describe who you are and what you're trying to do each time you pick up the phone and try to do something with your self-directed account. So that's part one, is white glove customer service. Part two, we offer probably the industry leading free educational content in the self-directed space. We put out 2 brand new educational webinars every week. We record them live on Tuesday, Thursdays. They post to our YouTube page and people can watch them in perpetuity there. If you just look up Advanta IRA on YouTube, you'll find 8-9 years worth of content that's backlogged and up there. And we also have a podcast.
How are you coming up with 2 new webinars every week, man? Like, how much can you talk about when it comes to self-directed IRAs? So it's
Well, we do go over topics, probably once a quarter, semi-annually. So the topics we do recycle sometimes, but we always bring on new guest speakers, new experts in the fields, whether it's a syndication expert or a 1031 expert, or an expert in specifically converting apartment complexes into other types of
so it's more of an interview.
Like
it's almost like a podcast type show in that case, an interview type show.
Well, it's educationally driven. We separately have a podcast as well, which I was going to get to. That's the Alternative Investing Advantage podcast. We post a new episode of that every week, which is much more informal and more conversational based. My colleague Alex Perney hosts that. And then we have blogs on our website and content there. But you're right. I mean, the topics, I've covered them multiple times, but you never know when you're going to catch a new audience or learn a better way to articulate yourself with these types of things, because it's really a lot of topics that, to me, being in the industry for 8 years, seems easy and simple, but I'm speaking to people that are hearing it for the first time. So any way I learn how to better break it down and make it more digestible nuggets of information, I always want to re-record,
Yeah. Okay, so that was that the second thing, or is that the third thing that we were talking about there?
That was the second. The third would really just be our cost structure. So, I mean, we are very competitively priced. You can go out in the industry and do your due diligence on any self-directed administrator. A lot of times they're going to charge a couple hundred, maybe a couple $1,000 for a certain level of service that's not up to par with our customer service, but you're getting the same transactions done. We charge maybe a few $100s and have the great customer service and the free educational content. We're really competitively priced. So that would be the third leg.
I was going to ask you, Corey, because you've been doing this for a long time. So if you're working with, I don't know, let's say a syndicator or a capital raiser who's looking to not necessarily, maybe they've got their own self-directed IRA, but what they want to do is convince potential investors and money partners to create their own self-directed IRA so that they can invest in the syndicator's deal or the real estate investor's deal. What kind of tips or strategies do you give them to get people on board with the whole self-directed IRA idea?
No, that's a great question, and that's a majority of my day job, actually.
Yeah.
So depending on that capital raiser's own philosophy, they'll either make direct introductions and let me have one-on-one conversations with those individuals. When we get a capital raiser that starts to be a referral partner for us, I can provide complimentary marketing materials like a PDF flyer and a URL landing page that very simply puts how easy it is to move your money into a self-direct account and make that type of investment with their branding, their logo, all of their own content. Just we put it together as a complimentary resource. And then I do educational webinars for those groups. I did one last Thursday night for a capital raising partner that I saw in Houston. Actually, I've known them for a long time, but I just went on and spoke to their audience, and I do that pretty often where I'll go on in front of their own audience and have a
to explain how it works for them.
Exactly.
Basically. Yeah. Yep. Smart. Because nobody knows it better than you do, right? So it's better than trying to reinvent the wheel and re-explain it. Yeah, that's really smart. I was going to ask that if some of these webinars that you did are kind of evergreen and people can, direct their prospects to those webinars to kind of get pre-educate a little bit and that sort of thing to get them engaged.
Pretty much. Like I said, I do one better and I just offer to do it live for them. So I could answer those questions directly on the spot with those investors that are toying around with the idea or maybe just hearing it for the first time.
Yeah, smart. How long do you recommend that these kind of webinars be?
Typically 30, 45 minutes with about 10 to 15 for Q&A. Mm-hmm. So I typically, if it's booked out for a full hour, I can definitely fill up a full hour, but really all I need is about 30 minutes to get through my presentation deck. Depending on the audience, if they stop me while I'm presenting, I'll, answer questions as I go and then get things back on track, or I'll just have like a 10 to 15 minute block at the end where I just am open to free question and answer session. But roughly 30, 45 can cut it. I can fill a full hour with that type of presentation, depending on how deep I go on certain nuanced topics, like, UBIT and UDFI tax gets a lot of questions sometimes, or the nuances of different strategies and the IRS rules and regulations. I can dive into any of them, but I don't want to take up too much of a chunk when that's only a portion of the audience that is interested or cares about that specific aspect.
That makes a lot of sense. So I think you said you have about 13,000 clients right now. Is that correct?
Yep, we're just about 13,000.
What's your best guess as to how many of those clients are like active investors looking to bring on LPs and capital partners and get them involved in this self-directed process? What's your best guess? How many of those guys you got?
Best guess, I'd probably say that's close to maybe 30% or so. I would say about 50% of our client base are real estate investors in some capacity, whether it's they're renting out homes at their own capacity or investing into syndication real estate. So if I break that down a little bit further, my biggest, partner group or referral source on the business development side are syndicators and capital raisers that I partner with and work with to provide the education and help them when they're doing deal raises to get clients brought along efficiently, turned around and invested with them as quickly as possible. So I'd say probably 30 to 40%, if a total of 50% are real estate investors of our overall client base.
Yeah. Now you mentioned at the top of the call that you got a lot of people using self-directed IRAs for doing hard money loans. Maybe tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so hard money lending is something you could do with your retirement account as long as you're not lending to a disqualified person, meaning your parents or children. And you set the terms of the loan. So I'm going to lend out X amount of dollars at Y interest rate, and this is going to be the maturity date. No one oversees that from the capacity of telling you can or can't do it. As long as it's an income generating investment, generating passive income back into your retirement account, you can lend to your neighbor, your cousin, your friend, business partner at the rates and interest and everything that you set yourself with the borrower. And it's up to you to decide if you want to loan an unsecured loan, just a simple promissory note, or have a security instrument in place that has to go get recorded in the municipality, whatever it may be. But that's an allowable strategy. Plenty of people do it. Plenty of people use their retirement accounts to be mortgage lenders or lend to someone that's trying to get a business off the ground in their community, or lend to a friend that's maybe struggling to get their car, payment or something like that. Whatever your niche or need is, your retirement dollars can be used for it.
Very, very cool. What do you see in the real estate space? Most of the hard money lenders, like the real estate hard money lenders, what are they typically lending on these days?
They're collateralizing on the properties. Yeah. So that,
but are they doing flips? Are they doing bridge loans? What are they typically mortgages? What are they usually doing with
mortgages? Mortgages. They're
short-term
lending,
or long-term mortgages?
I would say 12 months or so is what I'm common with seeing.
So
I
kind of
haven't
like
seen so
bridge
much of
loans
that
type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I haven't seen so much of that since I switched to business development, which is what I do now. I saw more of that for my first 5 years with the company until about 4 years ago. That was when I was processing those things on a day-to-day basis. Now I basically help people get their account set up and do this type of educational content, but I don't actually see the transactions that take place once I get those accounts set up.
Got it. And where do you see the company going over the next 12 to 18 months, Corey? Any big plans on the horizon?
Upwards for sure. We've got
upwards and onwards.
Yeah, we've got some irons in the fire. I can't necessarily talk about exactly here, but we've got some big moves coming, and we're hiring a lot. When I started with the company 8 years ago, there was 23, 26 employees, and we're upwards of 50 now. We just took on a huge new office space that we're still working on filling up and filling out. So definitely doing good things on our side.
Exciting times. Corey, if people want to connect with you and find out more, where should they go?
Probably the best would be our website, advantaira.com. You can click a button there to get our contact information. There's an About Me page that you can just search my name on the website and find me there, how to contact me there. I've got LinkedIn as well. Just search my name. It's pretty easy. It's a pretty unique name.
Awesome, Corey. Well, thanks for being on the show. This is good.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.